Our media product is a trailer which is called Trigger. We decided on this title due to the fact that it is simple and explains the movie in a single word. Anything is able to trigger the bomb. This is similar to the movie Buried, as this portrays the main idea of the movie. We had mostly been inspired by various films such as Non-Stop, Buried, Saw, and Devil. It is evident that our trailer is from the thriller genre. We chose this because it was the most intriguing genre, as it makes the audience worry and care for the characters. The movie Buried had the same effect that we had wanted. They were able to do this as character Paul Conroy was in a confined space, limiting his movement and having his life on the line. The thriller genre normally consists of low-key lighting, tense music, and even the building of suspense.
My convoy was ambushed. I got hit in the head. I blacked out, and that's the last thing I remember.
Overall, the conventions of a thriller genre is generally to make the audience want to keep watching the trailer and want to go watch the movie. They are also used to intrigue and gain the audience's attention. The two films that we had been looking at had been Devil and Buried. Buried's storyline consists of Ryan Reynolds, who plays as the main character Paul Conroy, being trapped underground while he is alive. He is held captive by a terrorist who informs him that he has a time limit to the amount of oxygen and will only survive if he cooperates. This had been useful as it enabled us to realize that we needed something that would grip the audience. The lighting within the whole movie had been warm-toned due to the fact the only prop that the main character had was a lighter. This caused the movie to break one of the main conventions, as the setting was not cool-toned, which makes the audience feel more sympathy, since it had a more cold effect. Despite saying this, it provided a solid storyline since it lets the audience acknowledge why the main character is in that position.
Less. 1 million money.
If they pay it, you let me go.
1 million.
Additionally, the idea of Buried using a male to be the main character conforms to the stereotype of males being more dominant. With this said, we used the countertype as our main character had been a female, and we decided on this because we wanted to gain more sympathy towards our character. The second film, Devil, is the main inspiration of our setting. The storyline for this is 5 strangers are stuck in an elevator and realizes that one of the numbers is Lucifer himself. In the trailer, there had also been a scene of the CCTV camera of the elevator on a computer screen, as if somebody had been watching them. Devil had contributed since we had decided to film our trailer in the elevator. This had limited our amount of space of what we could do since there wasn't much scenes we could film, but we did eventually use the CCTV idea since we wanted the audience to feel frightened over the fact that somebody is capable of holding captive several people, watching them constantly. As a group, we altered the original idea to make it seem like the antagonist was looking at several victims trapped in various elevators, and this can be seen at the end of our trailer. Devil's lighting for a thriller movie is still very vibrant as it is artificial lighting. This is unusual as one of the conventions of thriller movies always have dull and low-key lighting. By using this, it implies that they are using original lighting that was within the setting, and evidently this is what we used due to the fact it fitted well as it had a cold tint. But even though we were able to achieve this, we had complications with filming due to the limit of space. During the first weeks of filming, we had different scenes of when the elevator door was opened and closed. Therefore, it gave us 2 different lightings. The door being open had caused the lift to be more warm-toned, which didn't fit into the thriller genre. Additionally, due to there being a limited amount of space in Devil, the props that the characters had were the only props they had on them, for example phones, briefcases, etc. The use of having phones had been complicated for us as a group because phones is the easier way of communication to the outside world. This gave us the idea that we needed to add restrictions and rules. The reason for this is because we wanted to make the audience feel like there's no one to help them and there isn't a way to escape. Our trailer as a whole had consisted of most of the conventions. The main victim had been a female, as they are seen as an easy target due to them being weak, unable to fend for themselves. The lighting we used did seem to differ from some movies from the thriller genre, since at times they include low-key lighting, or sometimes even darkness. However, we were unable to do this since we filmed in a public elevator. Therefore, the lights always had to be on. Despite this, it still worked well with our trailer since we were able to have clear shots of our main character. Watching the trailer back, the soundtrack used was able to create a more tense atmosphere, especially with the combination of the thud sound effect.
There is a bomb on this lift. There are 3 simple rules you must follow in order to stay alive. Firstly, you must not attempt to...
We chose the soundtrack with the additional sound effect because it gradually gets upbeat and more faster. This is what we wanted, as we hoped it made the audience feel as if the climax of the trailer was coming soon, intriguing them to keep on watching. With this said, it did lead to an explosion because one of the victims had tried to escape. This is an example of foreshadowing, since the audience knows what the antagonist says is true, but not the other victims.
To gain feedback of our movie trailer, we designed a survey so we were able to recognise what teenagers would like to see. We would then be able to base our trailer on the responses we get.
The soundtrack had also been a big aspect in our trailer due to the fact our target audience had been intrigued by this. We decided to use the soundtrack Starboy, and this is because as the song went on, the beat and the sound increased. We wanted this to make our trailer more tense and make the audience want to keep watching.
When looking at our responses, it is also evident that the majority of the results had been female. With this said, the responses of what genre they want to watch most had been romance. The responses were not divided fairly, as the females could have affected the response. However, the action and thriller genre had not been the lower view, it was in the middle. Therefore, we had decided to continue our trailer based on these genres. After the completion of our trailer, we asked several people who were around our target audience and were able to get them constructive criticism from them.
I like how it starts off with the sounds. It's quite intense. I like the angles used. It's like a variety.
I really like the point of view shot.
The sound of the bomb was really cool. I like the CCTV part as well. And I really love that you used Starboy. Like, obviously, amazing song. Yeah. Guys, I really want to watch a movie in the cinema. Yes.
I think it's like an action thriller.
As a whole, it's really good. I really liked it. I think I would prefer if it was a bit longer and I got to see more of the characters and know more about them.
I mean, I think for such young people, yeah, it does look professional, and knowing that you had like limited amenities and like you didn't have all like the money and the equipment to actually make a film, it's actually so good for like what you've done on such a low budget or like no budget at all.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to my friends and my family. I think as it's a thriller as well, it's a very popular genre.
Having a female protagonist is quite interesting. Like, it kills the stereotypes of males, so I would recommend it because it's something different.
On me as a person, as a movie lover, I really want to go watch it now because I am very picky about what films I watch, and for such a film made by like six women and me wanting to watch it means that it's such a good film.
We got told that the trailer should be longer and should have focused on one specific character for them to acknowledge who would be the protagonist. Despite getting told this, we were unable to do since we had limited amount of space and limited amount of resources. But if we were to construct the trailer again, we would organise our time and plan precisely what is needed. We would also plan more on what we should include to make the trailer look more on the action genre.